Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price right now as our new daily candle opens up in less than 15 minutes and we rejected 42,000 US dollars and have already come below 40,000 US dollars as I record this video. There's a lot happening, Snipers. Let's dive straight into the charts because I have a very clear game plan for all of you tuned into the channel. Let's dive into this analysis. Looking at Bitcoin on the daily, what I want you to realize is we cannot see further downside from where we've already formed this candle low just around this $39,750 level, because if we see any further downside, we get below the 600-day moving average where we have confluence with the weekly open, and that puts Bitcoin in a very fragile position to potentially lose this local low that we recently made and even test prices probably down to around the $34,788 level, because all of these support levels are on the table getting below the 600-day moving average. We know when Bitcoin is below the 600-day moving average, it is very fragile. As a matter of fact, throughout this whole downtrend over the last few weeks, we have not seen much price action below the 600-day moving average. As you can see, we've only wicked below it so far, and every time we've formed higher lows. So at this point, we do not want this third higher low to fail on us. And so getting further price action to the downside at this point is not going to be a good picture for Bitcoin. And we cannot address any more upside targets until we are back above 42,000, which we obviously rejected. For those that have been tuned into the channel for quite some time, I always say wait for 4-hour candle confirmations and watch the symmetry on those candles, and notice how we only had one 4-hour candle close above 42,000, and it had bearish symmetry, and since then we've lost that level as a support. And so we didn't get 42,000 to confirm, and because of that, now we're back here at the weekly open testing prices below 40,000 in a very fragile position. So what does that mean for the four-dimensional revolving parts? But let me show you exactly why this is happening. The DXY closed with a bullish daily candle, and just look at the amount of upside we've seen with the DXY over the last few hourly candles and what that caused the S&P 500 to do. You can see almost like a falling knife, the S&P 500 losing value there in the immediate short term because of what's happening to the DXY. There's an inverse correlation, and that's clear. And because we lost this uptrend for the S&P 500, now we're seeing Bitcoin back down. So here's the thing, Snipers. It's quite clear that we do not want to come back below this local low that we formed, below the 600-day moving average, which is just under that $39,000 level, because that would indicate a failure of this higher low, and then that could lead to more downside. And we also know Bitcoin is just super fragile below the 600-day moving average, so we don't want to lose this local low. Our first confirmation of potentially losing this local low is the S&P 500 losing its local low, which we've yet to do so. And so this is something we really want to monitor in the next 24 to 48 hours, Snipers, and that's the S&P 500 and whether or not it will lose this local low on the E-mini futures contract. We are talking about 43.55, and so that could be different on the SPY. But here's something else I want you guys to check out. If we look at what's happening to the Euro to USD pairing, this is going to give us an indicator of how much stronger the DXY wants to get in the immediate short term. And holding this major support means that the DXY is running out of fuel, but breaking from this major support means that the DXY has a lot more fuel left. We need to continue monitoring this, because right now we're back above the support. We're obviously having a cup of coffee here. What we don't want to see is continuation of this downtrend here for Euro to USD, because this is inversely correlated with the DXY. And if it continues further down, that indicates the DXY does have a lot of fuel left in the tank to see upside. So those are very important things that we have to keep on our monitors. So I'm going to be watching the S&P 500. As long as we don't lose that local low, things are fine. But if we do lose that local low, it could justify Bitcoin also losing its local low. And that puts Bitcoin in a very bad position in the macro, because now we're below the 600-day moving average. In the past, we've seen capitulations happen below the 600-day moving average. And it's just not a good place to be below that 600-day moving average. So that's currently sitting right where our candle low is as I record this video. That could change. Hopefully we don't get below 39,750 by the time you're watching this. If we do, I'll have an emergency update out. We'll wait for hourly and 4-hour candle confirmations once again. And that's a confirmation that, okay, Bitcoin is really in a fragile place. I don't see that happening unless we see the S&P 500 break its local low. So that's what we need to monitor, snipers. This is all happening because of the DXY. It's obviously affecting the equity markets. The Euro to USD pairing still hasn't confirmed a breakdown. And so we still have some hope for the DXY to potentially find some resistance soon. But if we do lose that local low, I will, of course, let you all know as we monitor the charts every single day. And I think that's all I wanted to cover. What I do want to say as well is we're still expecting some more upside here for Bitcoin dominance to follow the gold to Bitcoin chart to get above all these daily moving averages. So maybe if we start to see Bitcoin dominance get above all these daily moving averages, we could potentially assume that the worst is over. So we'll monitor this. It's a little bit weird, obviously, with Bitcoin dominance because initially it started to move up with Bitcoin moving up and outperforming Ethereum and some other altcoins. And that was the way that we wanted it to happen. But now it's moving up even further, but it's because the overall market is selling off. That's not what we wanted to happen. And so we're certainly getting played the yo-yo here. And so we really need to monitor this tight range, snipers. So we have a support, we'll call it the candle low for this current daily candle, 39,750. That is the major support. We do not want to breach below 39,750 or it puts Bitcoin in a very vulnerable position. And our resistance, once again, 42,000. Once we can get above that, we can start talking about upside targets, but it's a very tight range. Let's continue to monitor the price, snipers. And with that being said, I believe that is all I want to cover. I will talk about Ethereum really quick. Because we've rejected 3454, which was the major resistance, we have to expect a lot of volatility here because our range support is 1980. This is that very large range that we've discussed in the past about Ethereum. It doesn't have that many large ranges, but this specific range is very large and very volatile. And so let's be careful. What really matters is the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart overall. And with that, I don't believe there's much else going on. I will say Coinbase is really getting hit hard. And you can see it has just been forming new all-time lows almost every single day so far. Today, we definitely formed another all-time low. And so at some point or other, nothing just continues going down. I actually know some people that got in pre-IPO and they're actually doubling into their positions for Coinbase because of how bad it's getting right now. So we really want this to start turning to the other direction, but it looks like there could be some more downside left. We'll continue to monitor the equity markets, but you know, we saw Netflix down 35% the other day. And so we're going to see money flowing elsewhere. Bitcoin in equity markets, I would say that traditional managers and VCs will consider it a risk-on asset. I'll consider it a risk-off asset more than anything. So hopefully we see some capital flow into Bitcoin from some of these equities getting kind of hammered over the last few days like Netflix. But let's continue to monitor Bitcoin. Very strong support here, 39,750. And a very important resistance at 42,000, very tight range. Let's continue to monitor, snipers. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all for tuning in to the Snipers channel today. I'm gonna go and have some dessert right now, and I will see you all next time, snipers.